Hey everybody, Big Z. Hope everyone's doing good. This video is bittersweet for me. One, because it was over a year or so ago when I put up the video on the cost of Sound of Freedom and the fraud that it was and the shit that I took from it. And plus, I got my video taken down from YouTube and I was suspended for like, I don't know how long. And it was even removed from BitChute because I called out Ballard as being a Mason and everything, and they didn't like my content. However, there was another channel on YouTube that's very well known for calling out all the Masonic stuff, but he was allowed to go with almost an exact match of my content a few days after mine was taken down, and which is really no surprise because it's controlled opposition. But this you have to check out. Here we go.
The box office smash Sound of Freedom portrayed her as a monster that sold children into sex slavery. They called her character Katie, but the hero of the film made sure the world knew her real name.
Her name is Kelly Suarez. Kelly Suarez, real person, right? Kelly was Miss Cartagena, famous in town, and she recruited kids to her modeling agency. But she was selling them, 12-year-olds.
Kelly Johanna Suarez was branded the kind of supervillain few could even imagine existed. A ruthless businesswoman whose product was child sex slaves. And they branded her that before a global audience.
En el caso de Kelly, que es la persona real.
También es un personaje real. Una
Sí,
mujer.
muy real, muy...
Kelly became despised on an international scale. But what the filmmakers didn't tell the public is that she was never convicted of child sex trafficking. She'd eventually sue the filmmakers for destroying her life. And the Christian team behind the movie now claimed that their true story was really just a work of fiction. Now Kelly Johanna Suarez speaks out for the first time since the movie's release.
Por eso digo que este momento lo estuve esperando por 10 años.
And she has a message for the world.
Ballard es un fraude.
I'll pause there for a minute. If you get a chance, watch the video. Here's the title down here. I'll see if I can put a link in the description. When you watch, I'll go to a couple time stops here, but what you're going to find is a whole operation was fraud. It was just a reality show, but the people involved are very important. I'm going to put and tie the links in together as I always do. But the children that were supposedly trafficked weren't trafficked. They were paid actors. The whole thing was just a work of fiction from beginning to end. But there's a couple of scenes in here that you have to see. So I'm going to bring over here, hang on with me for a second. I think we're at 47. And look at the cast that's in this. Hang on one sec. Okay, here we go.
To date, the 5 arrested on the island raid have not been convicted of child sex trafficking. The statute of limitations runs out on the case in October 2024.
But none of this stopped the team behind the Sound of Freedom to brand Suarez as a guilty monster that sold children into sex slavery. Because if Kelly Johanna Suarez was not the model turned child pimp the filmmakers claimed her to be, they no longer had a true story. To promote the film, the team turned to just about every faith-based outlet in America.
But I do know this, that Jim Caviezel loves Jesus, and I love Jesus, and so that's a really good starting point.
Our love for God's children has got to be greater than our fear of evil.
Okay, I'm going to stop here with Mr. Jesus Caviezel. He was said that to prepare for his role, he actually had to view some child pornography so he could be better understood his character. Yeah, like 2 months worth of it. Backing up to the young woman who they accused of being the kingpin lady, she spent 16 months in prison, had her name, everything, her whole life ruined so they could produce this complete work of fiction. Hang on.
Just as our love for Jesus Christ has got to be greater than our fear of the cross.
She said to me, these are a direct quote, she said, "I will not let you jeopardize my salvation by not doing this."
Jesus carried me like a child.
Oh, yeah.
And held me like a lamb.
Of course.
So at the end of the day, because, you know...
Okay, so let's stop here because this character plays something important. His name is Eduardo. I can't pronounce his last name. I'll pull it up in a minute. Just wait to where you're going to find this guy again. But anywho, keep going.
I am going to answer to God. And every day I think about this. How am I using my life?
Isn't it funny when we said this is the sound of freedom? Who would have thought that that was going to be a movie that really?
Oh yeah, who would have thought? Just you. This man is maybe as sick and warped as any. I don't think there's maybe anybody as actually sick and warped as he is. Check this out here. We're going to move over to another time stop, and what you're going to find here is, before I play into it, he were hiring, and I'll take you to another video clip, but basically they're hiring prostitutes to pose as his wife. So when they're going on these little things to pick these children up, and he was sexually abusing the women. There was a couple lawsuits that just came out. I'll go click on it in a minute, where she's suing him. He said it was BS, but she produced his semen on her dress. Some of the women he forced into have abortions that he impregnated, and believe it or not, it even gets worse than that. So hang on.
As for Tim Ballard, in September 2023, news broke that the Mormon Church denounced him for morally unacceptable behavior.
That's pretty bad.
5 women who'd worked with Ballard would eventually sue him for sexual misconduct.
We were subjected to sexual harassment, spiritual manipulation, grooming, and sexual misconduct.
The accusations include claims that Ballard employed a couple's ruse where the women posed as his wife to deceive traffickers, during which he allegedly subjected them to inappropriate behavior and sexual manipulation.
Oh no.
How many more women have to come forward for this to be taken seriously?
They claim that they had never seen a single child rescued on
Say
any
what?
OUR operations.
People are donating to OUR because they believe that OUR does what they say they're going to do. But they're not rescuing children. They're making a morality play for money and for donations, and they're using videos of us and other fake operations.
The women also claim that there are at least 7 criminal investigations into the founder of OUR, and shocking news about the investigations continue to trickle out.
The Utah County Sheriff's Office is holding on to key evidence. Celeste Boris was the former assistant to Tim Ballard. Now she's accusing him of sexually assaulting her while working on what he calls...
Okay, we'll pause there. So you get what's going on, but it gets worse. So, I always make the connection of the 3 or 4 M's: the military, the masonry, the ministry, and of course the Mormons. So let's take a look at this for a minute here. The producer of this movie, you'll see the 2. One is Jim Caviezel, Jesus Caviezel, and Eduardo, whatever his last name is here. Okay, so pay attention to this. I'm going to go up here, and what do we have on this one? The Freemasonry connection. You will see here what he wears on his tie. Isn't that just wonderful and special? And to show you that it is directly connected, Masonry and Mormons, on their little magic underwear, you will see the square and compass is on the Jesus Jammies. Isn't that special? Okay, let's keep moving along here. So here is Eduardo here, and who is he with? Orange Man. Let's see if I can make it play. Now he's endorsing Trump here, and they had a little special get together down at Mar-a-Lago, and they're actually the ones involved in the trafficking. Now I'm going to move over to a thing on Tim. So look at this. So here's Tim. Here's his Wikipedia, and you'll see someone's missing. They've scrubbed this. He has parents as just the mother, but it doesn't show who the father is. Why are they not showing who Tim's father is? His name is M. Russell Ballard. Who is he? He's the president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles of the LDS Church. Here he is here, and you know what his connections are? Child trafficking. That's right. The whole thing, as always, is what it always is. These people are the ones running the operation, and they show up as the savior. It's the trauma loop. The same person who causes the trauma is the same one who shows up as the savior. This is bittersweet for me, because I got a lot of shit for this. So you'll find out more news coming in on this. But oh, Timmy. Anyway, love everybody. I'm out.